Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. Ghosting isn't always an act of malice. Often, it's an act of emotional survival. You aren't a bad person for disappearing, but you are a person whose brain is currently malfunctioning in the face of intimacy. Most people think ghosting is about the other person being boring or wrong, but your brain has been lying to you. You aren't leaving because you don't care. You're leaving because you care enough that it has become a threat. Psychologists call this the avoidant paradox, and once you understand it, you'll see why you act the way you do. You meet someone great. The conversation is easy. The chemistry is there. But then something happens. A text sits in your inbox for 3 hours, then 3 days, then 3 weeks. Suddenly, the thought of replying feels like trying to lift a mountain. Your relationships, your reputation, and your own self-esteem are all influenced by this one psychological pattern. It feels like a loss of interest, but it's actually a high alert system in your amygdala. If you don't address this, you will spend your life as a nomad, perpetually starting over because you're too afraid to stay. But here's where it gets even worse. Most people stop here. They label themselves as quirky or bad at texting and move on. And that's the biggest mistake. Because every time you ghost, you aren't just cutting off a person. You are reinforcing a neural pathway that tells your brain that connection is danger. You are literally training yourself to be lonely. The anatomy of the fade. Why does it feel so heavy to reply? It's called decision fatigue mixed with social anxiety. When you like someone, the stakes are high. Your brain thinks every text needs to be a masterpiece. If I say the wrong thing, they'll see the real me. So you wait for the perfect moment to reply. But the perfect moment never comes. The longer you wait, the more the shame spiral grows. Now, replying isn't just a text. It's an admission that you've been ignoring them. So you do the only thing that feels safe. You vanish. The dopamine trap. This happens because our modern communication tools have hacked your brain's reward system. In the beginning, a notification is a hit of dopamine. You feel seen, you feel wanted. But as the relationship progresses, the nature of the notification changes. It shifts from a reward to an obligation. Your brain is incredibly efficient. It wants to conserve energy. Engaging in deep emotional labor, like getting to know someone's fears, histories, and quirks, takes a massive amount of glucose and mental bandwidth. Ghosting is effectively your brain's power saver mode. Your mind thinks, I could spend 3 hours talking to this person and risking emotional exhaustion, or I could scroll TikTok and get the same dopamine hit for zero effort. But the reality is, you are trading a meaningful life for a series of cheap thrills. This is why you feel bored with people. You've conditioned your brain to prefer the shortcut over the journey. Here's the painful part. Your brain chooses comfort over growth every single time unless you force it to change. Psychology says people don't ghost because they are busy. They ghost because they lack the emotional maturity to handle the discomfort of a difficult conversation. You aren't protecting their feelings by disappearing. You are protecting your feeling of not wanting to feel like the bad guy. Ghosting is the ultimate act of emotional cowardice masked as needing space. But here's the part nobody wants to admit, and it's the reason why your relationships always seem to hit a ceiling at the 3-month mark. This next part explains why your life hasn't changed yet, and why you keep repeating the same cycle with the different faces. Attachment theory and the ick. This happens because of fearful avoidant attachment. Your brain does this to protect you from the possibility of being rejected later. Your mind thinks, if I leave now while things are good, they can't hurt me later when things are bad. Have you ever felt the ick? That sudden inexplicable feeling of disgust towards someone you liked yesterday? That's not a gut feeling, it's a defense mechanism. Your brain is manufacturing a reason to dislike them so that ghosting feels justified. You aren't listening to your intuition. You are listening to your trauma. The digital safety net. We live in an era of disposable connection. Your mind thinks the next best thing is one swipe away, but the reality is that depth requires staying power. By ghosting, you are participating in a culture of dehumanization. When you see a person as a profile rather than a human with a central nervous system, it's easy to hit delete. but you are also deleting your own ability to experience true intimacy. If that hit you, good. It means you needed it. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You aren't independent. You're just hyper vigilant. You've built a fortress and you're wondering why no one is inside with you. The cost of the unfinished. Every ghosted conversation is an open loop in your brain. These open loops drain your mental energy. You think that by not replying, the problem is gone. But your subconscious is still carrying the weight of that unread message. This is why you feel tired. This is why you feel burnt out on dating. It's not the people. It's the pile of unfinished business sitting in your psyche. The shadow of the ghost. We need to talk about what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect. This is the tendency of the human brain to remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. When you ghost someone, you aren't just leaving them with an unfinished story, you are leaving yourself with one too. They are the ghosts in your own machine. This creates a subconscious weight known as cognitive dissonance. You want to believe you are a good person, but your actions, leaving someone in a state of confused silence, suggest otherwise. To resolve this pain, your brain has to work overtime to vilify the other person. You start telling yourself, they were too clingy anyway, or they were kind of weird. You have to make them a villain just so you can remain the hero of your story. But this constant mental gymnastics is exhausting. It's why you feel so drained by the idea of starting over again. The safety of isolation. There's a harsh truth people don't want to hear. Some of you ghost because you've actually become addicted to the peace of your own isolation. But that peace is a lie. It's not peace. It's emotional stagnation. In psychology, we know that the self is only truly formed in relation to others. We learn who we are by seeing our reflection in the people we love. When you ghost everyone who gets close, you are effectively stopping your own personal growth. You aren't finding yourself in the silence. You are losing yourself. You are becoming a stick figure in a vacuum. No depth, no shadows, no texture. The ick you feel when someone likes you isn't a sign that they are wrong for you. It's a sign that they are a threat to the small, controlled world you've built to keep yourself safe from growth. Solution takeaway. If you want to break this cycle, start with the honest exit habit. Here's the mental trick that actually works. When you feel the urge to vanish, send a vulnerability script instead. It looks like this. Hey, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed right now and I'm struggling to keep up with my phone. I need some time to myself, but I wanted to let you know so I'm not just disappearing. That's it. It takes 10 seconds, but it saves your integrity. It transitions your brain from flight mode to communication mode. By sending that text, you are proving to your brain that you can survive 30 seconds of awkwardness. And those 30 seconds are the difference between a life of isolation and a life of connection. Stop being a ghost in your own life. Start being a person. If you're ready to stop being a ghost and start building something real, you need a map to get out of that fortress you've built. I highly recommend checking out the Avoid an Attachment Style Guide and Workbook by Amanda Letterson. Its subtitle says it all. It is literally a blueprint to dismantle your emotional fortress. It's a great resource for anyone who likes the people in their life, but just doesn't know how to stop pushing them away. I've put a link to it at the top of the description below. If this helped you figure out your own brain today, make sure to hit that button and subscribe to Stickman Psychology. We're here to help you redraw your reality, one insight at a time. Take care of you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.